last segment that we're going to talk about is just personal biases, because I think that that's where it starts. Even though is implicit is personal implicit biases. So this was a hard one because I had to really think about, okay, now what do I want to share that because I like to be honest, because honesty, if you're not honest, then what's the purpose in it? So right. One of the things that I wanted to share in this last segment is, personal biases. So I have a personal bias, and I'll have a lot of them, but I'll share one of them. But one of the personal biases that I have is, when I would hear people say things, case in point, I would hear people say things, well, you know what? Well, such and such, the police kill such and such, but yet Black people kill Black people every day, all day. There's Black on Black crime. And that just makes my liver quiver. And what I say is that we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. So, And when I say, as far as I hate that word Black on Black crime. You have white on white crime. Look at Wednesday. What was that called? Was that a white on white crime? Because the first thing that I know when I talk to friends and everybody was watching it stunned, literally stunned. Right. And when I was watching it, and you knew, anybody who's ever been in that area know, and Ponce would know being in the service, Kaylin, you would know being in the service, they got cameras everywhere.
Yes.
They got cameras everywhere. I think, Kaylin, you and I were talking about this the other night. So it's like everybody that was there, people are going to find out who they are. But yes. The thing is, what stunned me the most, and when I thought about this, I said, these are people that are professionals. It was a doctor, a psychologist, I believe it was.
Yes.
CEOs. One of them was a Will County representative. I'm just baffled. I'm baffled. And not so much that, because they have the right to protest or what have you. But at the end of the day, call it what it is. You don't say Black on Black crime. You don't say white on white crime, but yet it's Black on Black crime when it's Black Lives Matter. And that irritates me. To share a person, one of their own personal biases that they have.
And I let the lady go first, but I got one.
Yeah, sure. See, it's hard because everybody's smiling because they're trying to figure out, okay, now what am I going to share about?
I ain't got a thing.
To talk about other things. But when it's our own selves, it's a whole different story. But again,
I'll go first for you.
Sure.
Ponce is about to say he's biased against people that don't hook grip.
Yeah, you gotta hook grip.
That's a CrossFit joke.
Exactly.
I'm sure I got plenty of biases. Like I mentioned earlier, I think at a certain level, it's a survival mechanism. But I think one struggle I really had that I've been kind of working on that I wasn't aware of. I was aware that I was angry all the time, but I didn't know what it stemmed from. But when I got back from my deployments, I found myself kind of angry at people for no reason. And it wasn't Black or white people, it was just people. And I'm trying to figure that out. And it's weird because if in my element of wanting to help people, and I think that's why I joined the military, like I'm just a different person because I feel like I truly want to help people. I think I want to help them be better than me. But yeah, for a long time when I first got back, and I think physical fitness has kind of helped me keep it at bay for the most part, but yeah, I guess I had biases against civilian people that didn't understand what I went through, and for no reason at all. I didn't know their story, and obviously they didn't know my story because I didn't want to share it. But that's something I'm working on for myself.
Thank you, Ponce. Anyone else like to share? I don't want to put anybody on the spot.
No, you ain't hurt me. Hey, man.
We know, Kaylin. We know.
Okay. Anybody else before
Yeah.
Hey,
we?
Sonny,
I was
we
gonna
got
say-
about no more than 2 minutes per person because we got about 10 minutes left. before
Yes.
we
Yeah.
wrap everything
I'll
up.
be very quick. I mean, I think I had a bias against the religion, the Muslim religion, and because I thought it was very anti-female, empowerment. But it wasn't until I met like a doctor, female doctor, who was, who was Muslim, and she took me to a mosque to pray. And although I didn't like the whole notion of they had a separate area to pray, but she was a doctor. Her husband, he was very supportive of her. Her husband's also a doctor. So it's like you have to take that notion down. And it's part of what you read and the misinformation that you get, that they're, the religion's anti-female, but it's not, so it's just being able to slow down that implicit bias process, educate yourself with real facts, and be able to change that.
Thank you, Sonny. Okay, Michelle.
No, I'm a pass on that one.
Yeah.
Only because being an educator, I see a whole lot. There's a whole lot in my world, and I'm not going to share right now.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry.
Is there anyone else that want to share?
Yeah. Can I go now?
Wait, we'll let you go last, Caleb. Anyone else want to share?
I'll share. I mean, I have a lot of biases, and I think that this actually made me realize it. Now, are they biases that I act on, or that I nurture, and allow to become something more than they should be? Mostly not. I like I think I said earlier, I've always been a very curious person, and I guess maybe it's probably my own insecurity. I want to know everybody. I want everyone to like me. I want to like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll still catch even before being asked to be in this conversation, I will catch myself looking at somebody, whether, Black, Mexican, even white, white people, and I'll judge them, and then I will stop myself and be like, that's not, you don't, like, to what someone had said earlier, you don't know what going through right now. You don't know what their reality is, and maybe that's why they look all disheveled, or maybe that's why they're in a bad mood, or anything like that. So and I would think, maybe this conversation has made us all realize that we all have biases, and it's just a matter of whether we acknowledge them and handle them the right way, or we allow them to fester and become something that's no longer just a bias, but a problem, to where it's clouding your worldview, because you're just so anti this or anti that, and but yeah, so I have a lot of biases, and I'm trying to not let that rule my life, and not let that change how I treat people.
Thank you, Jake. Anyone else want to share?
Well, I think I just like to say, having worked down at the Will County Jail, and I was a classification specialist, so we did the interviewing of the inmates and made sure that they were housed properly, and if they had any special needs, we took care of them. So when I came from dispatch down to work at the jail, and you have to learn how to, and I made myself not look so much at the charges. Now you have to do a certain amount just for safety, but I didn't want to know. Because if I know, then I'm gonna act differently. And I had seen other people do it, and I was determined I was not gonna do that. So I usually was pretty good at it, but I have to make myself aware. You can't think about it like that. They're just people. They're just people. Maybe made a mistake, and some of them were, really, they had some really serious charges. But my part of it is all I have to do is see what you need and make sure that those needs are taken care of. So it was a lot of it down at the jail, because I remember several times my colleagues saying, they see Jose Perez. Oh man, I hope he can speak English. Okay, really? So, and I basically would call their attention to, that's not cool. So, but it's you automatic. And this person, some of Jose didn't even speak Spanish. So, it's just, you have to make yourself aware of it. And it happened at the jail quite a bit. So you see them just deciding that this person is like that. So I had to make sure that when I talk to them, I try to keep that out of it. So that was just, the experience that I've had as far as biases go. One of them anyway.
Thank you, Sherry. Anyone else? Let's see. Everybody went. Andre.
So I would say, kind of piggyback off of what someone else has said, just having a bias of being judgmental and not off of race or background and things of that sort. Just of people places that people share and things of that sort, or things that people would eat, or people who didn't agree on points of view, my point of view, see things my way and things of that sort. But I think with me, because I'm on a whole different level of just a personal transformation, starting to realize that the golden rule, treat people the way you want to be treated, no matter, our differences, no matter our preferences, just treat them the way you want someone else to treat you.
Thank you, Andre.
You're welcome.
Wow. And I'm just excited about, first of all, this was a tough topic. Would you all agree?
Mm-hmm.
It was a tough
Yeah.
topic. And I mean, there's so many more layers that we could go into, but the whole goal for this was just to have the conversation, because if we don't have it, it'll never be had. We talk
That's right.
with our friends and our families, but someone's got to start the conversation about diversity with other groups of people that don't think like you. You have to, because if you don't, then this will continue to perpetuate, because it's having people on a forum, and we have different opinions. This is sort of different because it's new. This is new because you're not used to being, it's usually, if you're a professional, you with a group of professionals doing certain things, and you feel comfortable in that environment because you're an educator. So all of them are educators. So you all have a lot of things in common, and vice versa. If you're an attorney or what have you, if you work at the gym, I mean, the whole nine, the whole gamut. But when you come on and your titles means nothing, it's all about what's in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
It was a heart check. It really was a heart check. And I knew that we selected the right group of people, because I knew just when Sherry and I and Kaylin, when we got together, the whole goal was to be able to get people that would be willing to share and be honest, because people see fakeness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's half the problem. You know what? People get tired of, wearing a mask.
Yeah, no pun intended.
That's why people get tired of wearing a mask. And so what happens is it festers, and I think Jake had alluded to it festers on the inside, that hurt, that anger, it festers.
It's a cancer.
Exactly. It's a cancer, and it dies, slowly dying. And I just refuse. I said, this is a new year. Nobody expected this, but what I can say, and I'm grateful for, is I believe that because of the Black Lives Matter movement is the reason that we saw change happen in this election.
Mm-hmm.
You got the young people up and acclimated, and kudos to them. Kudos to them. And I don't know about you all, but I'm so ready to see some change happen. But the change has to start with me.
Yes.
Start with you. And Sherry had said, she's learning to be this activist. She's always been one. And, she's always been one. But because the thing is, we're activists in our own communities. We're activists on our jobs. We're activists in our families. And now it's like, the last year, I've been more of an activist in the community. I did it when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I'm like, whoa, I just want to sort of chill for a little bit. But as things happen, while you waiting on other people to do it, it'll never get done. It'll never get done. So Kayla, you had something in closing you wanted to share about a personal bias. You got about a minute, and we're going to end this, okay?
Just like I said, with growing up in the household of a police officer, I saw it day to day, and just watching the hypocrisy and how people would say, all right, everybody else is guilty until it's me. And that was always shocking to me. And it would cause me a great anger and angst against them, but like we've been saying, I've heard many people say, we don't know everybody's story. There's a lot of people that are hiding away from themselves. And as long as they're hiding away from themselves, they'll never see anybody fully and wholly, because they're hidden away from everything that they need to see about themselves. So, it's basically, if you can't check yourself, then you shouldn't be judging others. And you can't judge others until you check yourself.
That's right. And I believe that. And I absolutely believe that. So I just, like I said, to me, this is just, this was an important topic to discuss. And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity, to discuss this with you all. Okay. I'm grateful for that. It's like, so all of us can breathe now.
Nice meeting everyone.
Yes,
Yes, definitely.
You.
So
Thank
thank you
you.
so very